Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Stitch Create Love podcast. My name is Lindsay and I'm coming to you from Cheshire in the northwest of the UK, where I live with my husband and our 4-year-old daughter. You can find me on Instagram at Stitch Create Love, which I will pop on the screen somewhere here. I do tend to post fairly regularly on there, lots of crafty content and other lifey bits as well. So if you are on Instagram, it will be lovely to have you join me over there. So I have some notes down here, so I'm going to keep looking down. It is just over 2 weeks since my last podcast, and my goodness, what a change there has been. We are currently on lockdown here in the UK because of the coronavirus, and things have just changed so much so quickly, really. So I hope that you are all well, and I hope that you're all staying safe wherever you are in the world. I know that different countries have different kind of restrictions on what you're able to do at the moment. So wherever you are in the world and whatever you're doing, I hope that you are staying safe and well, and I hope that you are coping. Sorry, I got cut off there, and I will explain actually before I go into the podcast proper. Obviously, because we are on lockdown here in the UK and we're being encouraged to stay at home wherever possible, my husband and my daughter are both at home today. They're both upstairs at the moment, but the likelihood is that we will be interrupted, which is what just happened there. So if this is all a bit kind of broken up into different parts, then that is why. Because of this kind of very strange, unprecedented situation, the content of the podcast today is going to be a little bit different. I will talk about works in progress. I don't have any finished objects, so I will talk about what I'm currently working on, but and I will talk about some plans as well. But I'm also going to have a bit of a community chat about different things that are happening online, which have been keeping me busy and keeping my daughter occupied, because I think it's always handy to know what's out there to keep you busy during this period of lockdown. In terms of the current situation in the UK, for those of you that don't know, we are basically being encouraged to stay at home, except for the purpose of going out to buy essential supplies such as food and groceries and medicines, if we are caring for other people, and we are allowed to go out to work if we absolutely cannot work from home. We're very lucky within our household, because my husband has a job where he is able to work from home, and his employer encourages that anyway. He normally works from home 2 days a week anyway. So now he's working at home kind of for the foreseeable future. We do have a space outside. We had part of our garage outside converted into an office space, so he has a space where he can work out there away from me and my daughter, which is handy for him. My daughter was only going to nursery 2 days a week. She doesn't start school till September, so in terms of her being at home, things have not really changed that dramatically for me. And we do have a reasonably large garden, so she's able to spend lots of time outside, and we're able to get some sunshine, which has been really nice over the past week actually. So we are very lucky in terms of kind of our setup and how we're able to manage things at the moment. I know there are a lot of people out there who are really struggling because they don't have outside space, or they don't have support from employers, or for whatever reason people are struggling. So if you are struggling, my thoughts do go out to you, and I hope that you're staying safe and well. So obviously things have changed, and going forward, what I'm going to be able to provide by way of content is going to change. I was doing some sewing tutorials, and realistically that's probably not going to happen for the time being, because I used to film my tutorials on days when my daughter was at nursery, and it took me a long time really. By the time I'd set everything up, and I'd filmed everything, and I'd edited everything, and it involves me kind of taking over the kitchen, which isn't really something that I can do at the moment with her being here. So the tutorials are probably not going to continue. What I am going to try and do is try and do a weekly podcast with a slightly altered format. So I don't know quite what that format will be. It will be me talking about projects, but I'll just be chatting about different things that have kind of come up through the week, I suppose. And I will try and film those at the weekends, because my husband is able to spend a little bit of time occupying my daughter. So that is what I'm aiming to do going forwards. And as always, please do continue to keep commenting and interacting, because I think it's really important, particularly at a time like this, that we have a sense of community. Okay, another interruption there, but it's been solved by my husband. Right, okay, so let's just dive into the crafty content, shall we? So those of you who have watched before will probably be quite eagle-eyed and will see that I am wearing my Whitmoor sweater. Now, if I stand up, it's not quite finished. You can see there it's on waist yarn at the bottom, but it is pretty much finished, so I thought that I would put it on today for you to see what it looks like. So this is the Whitmoor sweater. It is a pattern by Ami Lowden, who is Tailoress Studio, and I will pop a link to the pattern on Ravelry in the description box below. Incidentally, excuse me, as an aside, I did have a comment from somebody, I think it was on my last episode, saying that I always say that I'm going to put the details of things in the description box below, and that I never do. I do try and put what I can in the description box below. Obviously there are things that I might forget. If you just press on the little kind of down arrow at the side of the description box, it does expand the description box and it gives any extra details that I've put in there. But if ever there is anything else that you want to know any more information about, please just leave me a comment below. I do read all of my comments and I do endeavour to reply to all of my comments, because that's part of the reason that I do this. I really enjoy interacting with you. So if there is anything else that you would like to know, then please feel free to ask me in the comments. I know there are some people who have commented on the last episode, and it's kind of taken me a little while to get back to you, just because of the situation, you know, adapting to being at home so much and things. So I do read all of my comments, and I do endeavour to reply to all of them as well. So if there is anything that you would like to ask, please feel free. I'm always happy to help. So I will, as I say, pop the details of the pattern in the description box below. This has been knit out of acrylic yarn that I bought in Aldi when they had it on special buys. I have knit the size medium, which I think is a really nice fit. I have done the bishop sleeve because I liked the idea of having the extra kind of billowiness here. And as I say, it's not finished because what I wanted to do, the pattern says to knit for so much of a distance before you stop knitting once you've split for the sleeve. So it tells you to knit until it measures so much from the underarm. I've already done an extra 2 inches because I'm very tall. I'm about 5'9", 5'10", but I think it needs to be a little bit longer. There's going to be, I think it's about 2.5 or 3 inches of ribbing on the bottom as well, but I do think it needs to be a little bit longer. It's a bit difficult to kind of show you here, really. Yeah, there you can probably see there. So I am going to do it a little bit longer, but what I thought I would do is I would finish the sleeves and then see how long I wanted it to be. So that's why it's not quite finished, but I thought I might as well show you today. I've really enjoyed knitting the pattern. It's a very, very clear, very simple pattern to follow. I did notice I had an email, I think it was on Friday, from Ravelry saying that Amy's done an update to the pattern. Somebody had asked me, I can't remember whether it was my last episode or the one before, when you do the lace pattern for the yoke, at one point you end up doing a double yarn over, and somebody had said how did you kind of deal with that, and I replied to that comment as to how I dealt with it. But Amy has now published an update to the pattern, and there is a little note at the side saying how to deal with that. So anybody that was a bit confused there, she has updated the pattern. As I say, I find it very, very easy to follow. I've talked about it before, so I'm not going to go on about it too much here. If you want to know specifics about why I found it particularly simple to follow, I don't know whether you can hear that there's banging upstairs. My daughter's playing up there, so if you can hear that, sorry. Yeah, so I have talked about why I think it's a really nice, easy pattern to follow before. So if you want to have a look at my previous episodes, then you can do. I'm really pleased with it, actually. I think it's a really nice fit, particularly around the neckline. I've got a black t-shirt on under here at the moment. But I don't think you really need that. I just have because it's a little bit chilly here today. And as I say, I did the bishop sleeves, but I am a little bit disappointed, and this is purely, this is my fault, and I will explain. I am a little bit disappointed because the cuffs are quite baggy. Now, the pattern is very, very clear, and it suggests that once you get down to the point where you need to start the ribbing on the cuff, you actually decrease your stitches. The pattern explains how to do that. And then it suggests that you go on to 3mm DPNs to do the ribbing on the sleeve. And rather than follow that advice, because I'm just impatient, I thought, oh no, it'll be much quicker if I just use a shorter circular needle, the same size needle as I had used for the ribbing on the neckline, because my stitches fitted on the needle and it was fine. But obviously what has happened, and you can probably see here, is it has stretched the ribbing out quite a bit. Now when I first finished it and I tried it on, they were actually a lot looser than this, so it may be that I leave it and think actually it's okay, but I might put some yarn in here. I don't know, do you call it a lifeline? I might put some yarn in here and then rip it back and redo the ribbing with DPN. So yeah, my advice would be, if you do have the pattern, follow the advice, listen to what Amy says, because it is Amy's pattern and she clearly knows what she's talking about and I don't. So yeah, but I'm really pleased with it. It's really lovely. As I say, it's in acrylic yarn because this is the first sweater that I've knitted. And I wanted to make sure that I was able to do it and that it worked out before I knitted it up in a more kind of a more considered purchase yarn, a more expensive yarn. So I will definitely be making another one of these. It's a pattern that is designed to be knit either with a strand of fingering weight and a strand of mohair held together, or in a double knit yarn. So this is a DK yarn, a double knit weight of yarn, and I think my next one I would definitely like to try having it with the mohair so that I get that really nice halo. Let me just see, is there anything else that I wanted to say to you about that? No, there isn't. So moving on, we've already talked about the fact that, you know, we're having to stay at home here in the UK, and that things are very strange at the moment, and I've actually found it quite difficult, even though I've got all this kind of extra time in theory on my hands to be doing my knitting and my crafting. I found it quite difficult to excuse me, to concentrate on projects, because it is quite an anxious, worrying time, and you know, how long is this going to go on for? Am I going to run out of food? Am I going to be able to occupy my daughter? Is everything going to be okay? So, you know, I found it difficult to focus my mind on projects, really, which is part of the reason that this isn't quite finished, because it's, you know, the rounds are quite long because it's the width of the body of the sweater. I'm rambling, excuse me. So what I have done is I have been trying to work on something a bit different, and also I wanted to work on things that I could use yarn that I already have in my stash, because although we are still able to order things online, obviously when you're getting things delivered, they're being delivered by somebody who, you know, may or may not want to be out delivering, and then obviously there's the issue of the virus living on surfaces and stuff like that. So although we, you know, I'm not saying we're not ordering things online, but I'm trying to do that as little as possible. So it was Mother's Day in the UK. I feel like I'm rambling quite a lot because there's a lot of things going on and this is different to usual. So I hope I'm making sense, and apologies for people who are thinking, what is this mad woman talking about? But anyway, it was Mother's Day in the UK last Sunday, and I was going to have some yarn for my Mother's Day present. I was going to choose it myself. My husband said, you know, you choose yourself some yarn. But with everything that was going on and everything being a little bit uncertain, I didn't know whether if I ordered yarn it was going to come, it was going to be delivered. So I decided instead to order some patterns on Ravelry, and I decided to have a go at some things that I have been looking at for a while. Let me just have a look. Here is the first one. So this is the first pattern that I downloaded. It is the Little Cotton Rabbits Bunny Girl in a Dotty Dress, and this is a pattern by Julie Williams. Julie has a blog, which the address is there, but I will pop all the details in the description box below as well. And her patterns are also available on Ravelry. And when I bought this last weekend, she did have an offer on whereby if you bought 2 patterns, you automatically got 15% off. So I ordered that one. I also got, again, this is kind of in the wrong order really, but here we go. Excuse me. I also got the girl pig in a sailor dress. My daughter chose this one because she said that she wanted me to have a go at knitting that for her. And that's kind of why I got these really, because I wanted to have a go at knitting them for my daughter. So as I say, I'm trying to use yarn that I've got in my stash. So I've got a lot of acrylic yarn, and I decided that I would try and use some of that up, as well as some sock yarn to have a go at knitting these. So This is my attempt at the bunny. There you go. So actually it doesn't look as bad on the camera as it does in real life. I've never knitted a toy before, and it's really lovely. The instructions are really clear, and it's all very cute and lovely. So you can see we've got the head here, and she's looking a bit wonky there, isn't she? Her eyes are not quite right. Definitely a handmade look to this bunny. She's got, this is embroidery thread that I've done anchored French knots for the eyes, and then this is just some darker grey yarn. I think I probably should have used a slightly different shade really. Then we've got the ears here. She's got the body, she's got stripy tights. This is some sock yarn that I had. I think this was something that I got in my Advent swap, as was this. And I don't know if you can see that. Yes, I think you can just see it's sparkly red. So she wanted a bunny with sparkly red shoes so that she could call her Dorothy, as per Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. So you can see there that's not attached particularly well. So as a first attempt, I'm quite happy with that. It needs a lot of improvement. And obviously because I've used acrylic yarn, the pattern is a little cotton rabbits pattern. So the idea is that you use cotton yarn, and obviously I've used acrylic yarn, so I imagine it's a lot stretchier than cotton. So that's probably why I've got an oversized head and oversized arms. But you know, she loves it. She's really, really happy with it, and she's taking this round everywhere with her at the moment. So that is my little cotton rabbit. It's not finished because I haven't done the dress yet. So yeah, I'd highly recommend those patterns. And you know, at a time like this when things are a little bit uncertain, it's nice to just have something a bit fun to work on, isn't it? So as I say, I got the pattern last Sunday. It's Sunday today, and I think this was up to this stage on Thursday. So, and I was only working on it in the evenings and a little bit in the day as well. So it was quite a quick knit. The actual knitting itself is not what takes the time, it is the finishing and the putting together. And if I'm going to make another one, which I am, then I would definitely knit all the pieces together first, or knit all the pieces up first before I think about stuffing them, because then I wouldn't end up with an oversized head. So that is my Dorothy rabbit. And then I also got some other toy patterns. Let me see. Now, what have I done with the, is it here? Yes, it is. This is what I'm now working on. So I also got some patterns by Mary Jane's Tearoom, which I didn't know anything about until I saw it on Instagram a few months ago. And I'm just trying to find the front page of the pattern so that I can show you these. So this, oh goodness me, how many pages? There we go. So this is Mary Jane's Tearoom, and this is the Tearoom Bears, and it's method 2. Now I couldn't see a method 1 pattern. Method 2 is knit flat and sewn together, and that's actually how the little cotton rabbit is knit. And she also has some patterns where she does method 1, which is knitting in the round, and I'll show you one of those in a minute. So this is the Tearoom Bears by Mary Jane's Tearoom, and let me just show you. There's another picture somewhere which has lots of other views of the bears. Honestly, you'd think I'd know what I'm doing by now, wouldn't you? Yeah, so you can see there's all the bears there, lovely bears. So I'm kind of aiming for this kind of thing with what I'm doing at the moment, and I will show you where I am up to. So I have done, I'll just show you one of these, but I have done both feet. So I've done, let me see if I can get my hand in there to show you. So that's going to be one of the legs. I've done 2 legs, and I've done the shoe straps, but I haven't attached them yet. So this is some cotton yarn that I had in my stash. I think it's a Bergère de France one. Bergère de France, which I picked up when it was a discontinued colourway at Abercan a while ago. And this is just acrylic cream yarn. And then I've also done, everything is attached to everything else here. Here we go. I've also done, I've started doing, excuse the sun coming in there, I've done the bottom of the body. So this will be the bottom of the body, and this will be the top, the bodice or the t-shirt. that she wears. So that's where I've got up to with that. So that's the Tearoom bears that I'm having a go at. And then I also, I haven't printed it out, but I got, she does some Tearoom dolls, which are really, really lovely, like traditional kind of, if anybody remembers Play Days, which used to be a children's programme when I was very little on the television here in the UK, and there was a doll in there called Peggy Patch on Thursdays. It was the Peggy Patch Stop. Where on earth am I going with this? But she was like a really nice knitted doll, and it's that kind of thing. So I got the dolls, and then I also got this one, which is Ella the elephant, and this is method 1. So this one is going to be knit in the round, so I'm looking forward to having a go at that as well. And then there was a post on Instagram by Mary Jane's Tearoom saying that just for this weekend only, so you're probably going to be watching this afterwards, she was offering a free pattern with a code. And so I also got with that one, I got the cat, the girl cat, and I got that because I found out yesterday, I had some really lovely news that my oldest friend, and yeah, she's just lovely, she's actually having a baby. She's expecting a baby in September, and she loves cats, so I'm going to knit the cat for her baby, as well as lots of other things, because, you know, when you have a baby, you've got to knit for a baby, haven't you? Not least because it's much quicker to knit up things. So that's the kind of the current projects that I've got on the go. I'm still doing my socks, I'm still doing my ranunculus, I'm still doing my trescal, and I'm hoping that I will get some time to work on those now that we are in lockdown. But I also just wanted to show you another couple of things that I'm going to plan on having a go at. So Jooles from So Sweet Violet, who probably doesn't need any introduction, who I'm sure you all know, she also, a couple of weekends ago, or was it last weekend, she was also offering a free pattern. So I took advantage of that, but I also did buy one as well. So I got a free one and I bought one. So this is what I've got from Jooles. I got the Soul Sisters socks, which is a pattern by Jooles and Ami of the Whitmoor Sweater. So they designed this sock pattern together, and it's got old shale lace as part of that. So I'm looking forward to having a go at that. They're designed to be scrappy socks, so I'm hoping that I can use up some things that I've got there. And the other one that I got is Jules's Wondrous Dishcloth. I have seen these, you know, popping up all over Instagram since the pattern was released last year, and I've never got around to doing it. So now I'm going to have a go, and I have got some cotton yarn in my stash, which is, excuse the rustling, whoops. Again, it is the Bergère de France, and this was a discontinued colourway, and I thought at a time like this we all need some bright sunshine in our lives, so I'm going to have a go at doing a Wondrous Dishcloth in that. So that is my projects, and that's the kind of the crafty content side of things. I'm kind of rushing through this a little bit here because I don't really know how long I've got, how long they're going to be occupied for upstairs. Another interruption. Okay, so I am back. So I'm going to move on now to what I thought I would call the kind of the community side of this. This is really getting on my nerves. My hair, I'm trying to grow it a little bit, and I'm trying not to just stick it behind my ears, but now this is getting on my nerves, so I'm sorry if people are getting annoyed with me moving my hair. Yes. Anyway, let's just stop rambling and get on with it. So, the community section. So firstly, as part of the community section, I wanted to share some lovely kindness that I have received from some of my lovely viewers. I was chatting last time about the fact that I had decided I wasn't going to be able to go to Yorkshire Yarn Fest, which was then overtaken by the fact that Yorkshire Yarn Fest got cancelled anyway because of the situation with the coronavirus. Although Yorkshire Yarn Fest did a really excellent virtual yarn festival, which was lovely, and I hope that other yarn festivals which are cancelled are going to try and do something like that, because it was really good fun. But anyway, rambling again. As part of that, I was saying that I'd really wanted to go because I wanted to get some mini skeins, because I wanted to have projects that I could work on that would, I could just pick up a bit of a mini skein and you know, a scrappy project, or you know, a blanket or scrappy socks or whatever. And the lovely Sarah from Yarn Mugs said that she had some mini skeins that she would like to send to me, which was very, very lovely and kind and generous of her. And Sarah sent these before we all ended up in lockdown. So I've had these for a little while now, so I'm going to show you what Sarah sent to me. We agreed in the end to do a swap, so I did send a couple of things to Sarah, which I know she has received, and I know she's pleased with those. So I'm really glad that you like them, Sarah, and I hope that you managed to use them in your project. So this is what Sarah sent to me. So first of all, she sent me a lovely postcard, which she's written a lovely little message on the back. And she also sent me a notebook, and it has dotty paper in, so I'm really looking forward to using that for some plans, maybe some pattern designing, which I've talked about before. Another lovely knitty notebook there, which is lovely. And also this one, which is a John Arbon Textiles one. I love that artwork on the front. And again, this one has got squared paper in. So that's going to be really nice for making plans or recording project notes. She also sent me, I'll show you, it came in a lovely little bag. And I've kept everything in here, excuse me, to show you, but I'm really looking forward to using this. Isn't that lovely? And it is lovely lemon, Marseille soap, lemon. I think, is it vervain actually a herb or a scent? Anyway, it's lovely, it's beautiful. And because we're doing all this hand washing at the moment, I'm really looking forward to using that for washing hands as well. So thank you, Sarah. That was a really lovely treat. I love proper soap. I don't know about anybody else, but I do love a proper bar of soap. I think it's very luxurious. It feels like a real treat. And then the mini skeins that Sarah sent me are in this little bag here, and she said that they are Nora George. So I will show you these. So we've got this one, which has got lots of lovely pastel-y colours in, blues and greens, and then there's a bit of pink as well, lilac, really, really nice. Then there's this one, which is more kind of peachy pinks, really, really lovely. And then we've got this one, which is blues and greens. That reminds me a little bit of the colours from Frozen, actually. My daughter loves Frozen, she's obsessed with it. And then there's this one as well. So they're all complementary, all really lovely, and I am looking forward to using those. So I'm having a little think about scrappy projects at the moment. I'm thinking about starting one of the blankets, either the Cozy Memories blanket or the Northeasterly blanket. So if you've tried either of those, or if you've tried both of those, let me know what you think of them in the comments below. Because yeah, I'd definitely like to have a go at those. So thank you so much, Sarah. Sarah, for those of you who don't know, is Yarn Mugs. I will pop a link to her channel below, and she has a lovely podcast. And I think Sarah is, she's an NHS worker, she's a key worker. So thank you, Sarah, not only for your lovely gifts, but for everything that you are doing, as well as all your other colleagues within the NHS and the key worker sector at the moment. And then I was also contacted by lovely Kathy, who is Whatnot, and again I will pop a link to Kathy's channel below, and she's also got an Etsy shop. Kathy lives in Australia, and I've spoken about her on here before. She has a podcast, she's lovely. It's really nice actually to watch Kathy, because she does lots and lots of different, excuse me, she does lots and lots of different crafts, so it's always really interesting to dip into Kathy's podcasts. So she sent me a lovely card as well. That's her logo, isn't that lovely? I really, really like that. So that's Kathy. She also sent me this lovely little package. So I think these are some stickers in here. There's also a, let's see if I can move that without, I don't want to get it out because I'm going to rustle. There's a lovely little badge there with her logo on. That will be going on one of my project bags. And then there's some tea in there as well. Really, really lovely. And she was so generous. She said she wanted to send me a gift. which she has done, but she has also sent something for a giveaway. Now, I'm going to keep the giveaway for the time being just because of the situation around the world with the coronavirus. So I'm going to keep that for the time being. And I will, when things are a little bit more kind of normal again, I will do the giveaway then. But I'm going to show you both of the things that she sent me. She said that I could choose which one I keep and which one I give away, and I haven't chosen yet. I'm really struggling, and you'll see why when I show you, because these are beautiful. So this is the first set that she sent to me of minis. There is a lovely green, and this is a really high twist yarn, which is lovely. Then there is a, this is quite similar actually, isn't it? And it's a lot lighter actually to the shade that I've got there. So that's, I would say that's more of a beigey colour. And then this one over here is more of a peachy colour. I'm not sure you're getting the distinction on the screen there, but they are very different and they're both lovely. And then there's a lovely, like a dusky pink and a yellowy colour there. And then look at this stitch marker here. It's got, can you see that? It's got a lovely, is that focusing? Shall I block my face and see if it makes a difference? There we go. A lovely painting, and when you turn it over, it says, hand painted by Kathy. Isn't that lovely? Really lovely. So that's the first set that she sent, and that's 5 20-gram minis, 85% merino, 15% nylon. And then the other set, sorry, I'm getting distracted because I can hear voices at the other side of the door. The other set is this one, and this is all lovely blues. So we've got, these are definitely frozen colours, aren't they? Lovely. So that's got very sort of subtle speckles of blue. This one here, you've got the blue base and then the darker blue speckles. This is lovely. I love this one. This is my colours all over. This is really, really beautiful. And then this one, which is more kind of purpley blues and dusky pinky reds. And then we've got, it's all right, they've gone in the other room. He's occupying her with the piano. So if you can hear the piano, that's why. And this one is a lovely pale blue. So they are both beautiful. And then this stitch marker, same kind of thing. If I cover up my face, you'll probably see it better, won't you? And again, you've got the blues, and it's again hand painted by Kathy. So thank you so much, Kathy. That's ever so kind and generous of you. Yeah. Honestly, that, you know, at a time like this, but you know, any time it would be lovely, but at a time like this, it's really lovely just to get a lovely gift from a lovely friend, because we are all friends in this community. So there they both are together, and I'm really struggling to choose which ones I'm going to keep. I'm kind of swinging backwards and forwards between the two. First of all, I was inclined, because my favourite colour is blue, I was inclined to think, no, I'm going to keep these because they're different, and therefore it will give me a bit of variety. But then I keep being drawn back to the blues because it is my favourite colour. So I will make a decision, and then when things return to normal, when normal service resumes after the coronavirus pandemic is over, I will do a giveaway, and I will give one of those away to one of you lovely subscribers as a prize. Sorry, interruption again there. So yeah, those were the very kind, just two very kind friends that decided to share some of the crafting love, and yeah, I really appreciate that, so thank you so much. Okay, so moving on then, in terms of community, I wanted to talk a little bit about the online community, because what I have seen, things have changed very, very quickly with this virus. You know, when I recorded a podcast 2.5 weeks ago, we were able to move around freely. There were no restrictions in place. Yes, all of this business about the coronavirus was being reported, but I don't think anybody realised how serious it was going to be. And it has changed very, very quickly. We went from kind of being able to just do as we please to complete lockdown within about 10 days. Might have even been less than that. And the online community, particularly the online crafting community, has really responded to that and has provided so much. So I thought I would talk a little bit about some of the things that I am taking advantage of and that are keeping me company and giving me a sense of community. I thought I would share that with all of you. So firstly, a few people on the kind of the podcast, the vlogging circuit are doing some daily vlogs. Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful, you know my thoughts on Ali. She's lovely. She's just lovely. And she is doing daily vlogs. She was going to do April vlogs, but then when all of this kind of started with the coronavirus, she decided that she was going to start them early. So she's doing daily vlogs. She's based in Kent here in the UK, and she's usually has them live kind of first thing in the morning. So when I'm having my cup of tea in the morning and my breakfast, I'm usually just watching Ali and catching up with her and seeing what she's up to. And she's kind of making a record at the moment of where everybody that watches her vlogs is in the world, and I think she's going to do a big map to show the size of the community. And she's also, she keeps kind of going into the daily address to the nation. I'm not going to do it. Daily address to the nation, an impression of Her Majesty the Queen, which is really hilarious. So Ali, you are keeping me sane. Thank you for all the time and effort that you're putting into your vlogs, and I hope if you are watching that you are keeping sane and safe and well. So that's Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful. Jeanette from Crafty Cleggs is also doing daily vlogs at the moment. I think she said that she's going to try and do daily vlogs, but they might not be every day, and she's just keeping us up to date with her projects. So it's lovely to keep up to date with Jeanette. Jeanette and I were supposed to be meeting again in a couple of weeks, and we have met up before, but that's obviously not going to happen now because of lockdown. But I'm hoping, Jeanette, that I'm going to be able to get you on some sort of video meeting type thing so that we can still have a bit of a virtual craft and a natter as well. So that's Jeanette from Crafty Cleggs. Interrupted again. I'll explain why in a minute. Yeah, Sherrie from Ollie and Bella. She was doing daily vlogs up until about, I think it was about 3 or 4 days ago, and she stopped doing them now. But there are plenty of daily vlogs that she was doing throughout March that you can go back and have a look at. And Sherrie is another one who does lots of different crafts, and she's really lovely, and she, bless her, is, as the rest of us all are, stuck at home at the moment, and she's got 3 children, and it's just nice to see how she kind of copes and manages everything. So Sherrie, if you're watching, I hope that you're staying safe and well, and I do miss your vlogs, but I'm looking forward to your podcasts going forward as and when you get the time to do them. Sherrie is quite active on Instagram as well, so go over there and have a look at Sherrie, Ollie and Bella. So those are the daily vlogs. I know there's lots of other people doing them, but those are the ones that I've kind of been watching regularly. And then I did something on Wednesday night, which was really good fun. Vykky, who is the dyer at West Green Loft Yarns, hosted a virtual knit night, and she did it on Zoom. It does take a little bit of getting used to. I downloaded the Zoom app on my phone, and that eventually, once I worked it out, it was pretty straightforward. But she's going to be doing it again, so she's going to do it every Wednesday night at 7:30. So that's going to be British summertime now, because the clock's changed here this morning. And it was really good fun. There weren't a massive amount of us doing it, but it was more than enough. I did kind of sit a little bit on the sidelines and just watch and not really say an awful lot this week, but I fully intend to get more involved next week. But it was great. It was like just sitting in the pub actually with your knitting, because we were, I think all of us had a tipple of some description, a gin and tonic or a glass of wine, and you know, husbands were bringing in the drinks, and we were texting husbands and asking them to bring more wine while we were chatting. And it was just lovely to chat to lovely like-minded people and find out what everybody was working on. So that was really lovely. Thank you so much, Vykky, if you are watching, for setting that up. I will definitely be joining you again on Wednesday. Vykky does have a podcast as well, so I will pop a link down in the description box below to her as well. So thanks, Vykky, and I'll see you on Wednesday if you are watching. You've probably got much better things to be doing than watching me. Okay, then moving from the kind of the craft side of things onto a more well-being side of things. I do a fitness class usually on a Tuesday morning when my daughter's at nursery, and obviously that's stopped as well. So my fitness instructor is doing Facebook Lives and Zoom classes, but there are other people doing things as well, because that's obviously something that's like a private group for members of her fitness group. So there is a lady called Nathalie Clough. I will put a link to her down below as well, who on Instagram at 6 o'clock o'clock in the evening, British summertime. She does an Instagram live, and then it's there for 24 hours if you want to catch up with that. And she is a Pilates instructor. So she's Nathalie with an H, Clough Pilates, and she's doing a daily live Pilates lesson at 6 o'clock in the evening. So if you fancy having a go at that, then go and check her out. And I found out about her actually by listening to the Earle Wellbeing daily live. So Earle is Earle behind the skincare range, and she's also, I think she's one of the beauty journalists on This Morning, which is like a daily magazine show here in the UK. She's doing a daily live at 12:30 every day on Instagram, and again that's there for 24 hours, and she talks about lots of different well-being things, so exercise, healthy food, healthy lifestyle, supplements, lots of different things. So it's just nice actually to be able to check in with somebody every day that's there talking to you, and there's an opportunity to interact. So that's Earle Wellbeing. I think she actually does it on her Earle Me Instagram, but I will pop the details below. My phone's just dinged and I'm not really sure why. We'll look at that in a minute. And then also OYG Davina McCall, for those of you who don't know, she is a television presenter here in the UK, but she does lots of fitness videos, and she is offering a free month on her Own Your Goals Davina website at the moment. I'll see if I can find a link to that. And there's loads of different exercise classes on there that you can look at, and there's recipes and different tips. So that's something else that I have enjoyed. And then moving on to children. So I have a 4-year-old who is at home with me. So I thought I would talk about a couple of the things that, I'm just looking at my list, where are they? Yeah, a couple of the things that are keeping her occupied as well. So first of all, there is a Makaton signed music class, which is called Bibbity Bobbity Boo. I will put a link to that again. That's something that my daughter used to do at nursery when she first started in the baby room, and then when she went into the toddler room, they used to have a lady called Kirsty coming in to do Bibbity Bobbity Boo, and it's Makaton signed songs for ideally, I think it's probably younger children, but she is doing Facebook Lives, and she's doing live classes on there. And Eloise, my daughter, sat and did it along with her teddies the other day, and it was lovely. It was about half an hour, and it was just time that I knew she could sit happily and do something which was beneficial in terms of it not just being, you know, a program that she's watching a lot of anyway, but it was something that was beneficial for her. There were benefits to it, and she enjoyed it, so that was really lovely. The other thing that she enjoyed doing on Friday, I think it was, Chester Zoo had a virtual zoo day, and I think all of the live stuff that they did is probably up on their Facebook page now, recorded. So they went around to lots of different animals on the hour, every hour, and sorry, my phone is dinging and I know why it is, so I'm going to cut off there and I will come back. Okay, I am back. It is about an hour later. I will explain what's been going on in a minute. I'm sorry about the light here. We've got Velux windows and the sun has come in, and I'm just trying to basically wrap this up. So just bear with me. I was talking about Chester Zoo. So anybody that watches The Secret Life of the Zoo on Channel 4 here in the UK, it's like a documentary series all about Chester Zoo. I've spoken about Chester Zoo before. We live very locally and we do have a membership. Obviously we can't go at the moment. And on Friday they did a Facebook Live where they went round to different animals every hour, and the keepers were talking to you about the animals, and it was just a really nice way to kind of go to the zoo virtually without being able to go in real life. So I think they have put all of the live content onto their Facebook page as a recorded content. So if anybody is interested in that, then go and have a look. I will pop a link to their Facebook page below. And then the other thing that I was going to talk about, which is really, really good for those of you who have children at home and for those of you who are attempting to do some homeschooling at the moment. This is really off-putting because I feel like the camera angle has changed. There we are. I could kind of see part of my wall in the corner here, and there's a bit of paint that's chipped off. You don't need to know all of that anyway. Yeah, the other thing that's really good for children, and for those of you my phone is dinging again. It's House Party, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. Yeah, the other thing for children, if you're trying to homeschool and keep children occupied, is a website called Twinkl. Now, I will put the details in the description box below. For those of you who don't know, I am a qualified primary school teacher, and until about 18 months ago, that's what I was doing until I stopped that. That's a conversation for another day. But when I was teaching, I used to use Twinkl a lot for lesson planning, resources, for kind of teaching input stuff, and for worksheets and different activities for children to do. And it is a subscription service, but at the moment they are offering a free month to anybody that wants to use it. So I will pop the link to the page that you need to go to, and you just need to put in your name and your email address, I think, and there is a code that I will pop down there as well, and maybe I'll pop it up on the screen somewhere. And you can get access to all of their resources for a month, and they have literally thousands of resources. It's very, very good for primary teaching. I don't know, they do have secondary resources. I've never used those because I'm not a secondary teacher, but in terms of the primary resources, they've just got loads and loads of stuff, and they've got loads of early year stuff as well. So I've been on and I've used the free month. I'm using it at the moment, and I've got lots of things for my daughter. So she's really interested in dinosaurs at the moment, so I've got lots of different dinosaur resources to do a little bit of maths and phonics work with her. She's not at school yet, but she does do little bits and pieces at nursery, so I thought I would do a little bit with her, and then there's activities just to keep us busy. So that's Twinkl. There is a lot on there. It is a little bit overwhelming if you're kind of not used to looking at those kind of things. If anybody is particularly interested, I'm happy to do a video talking about how I have selected resources that I'm using for my daughter, and how I have used the resources in the past in terms of actual kind of lessons, teaching input and things in school. If that is helpful to anybody at home that is trying to homeschool their children, please let me know, and I'm happy to just have a little bit of a chat about that with you, because there is obviously there's a particular way that as a teacher you would normally structure a lesson, and while there's obviously no rules really about what you need to be doing when you're at home homeschooling, you know, I know a lot of people find it useful just to have a little bit of guidance. So if anybody wants to have a look at that, let me know. Okay, that was everything that I wanted to say about children, keeping children occupied. I am racing through this a little bit because my daughter is back upstairs, and she wants to do some painting in a minute. Oh, the sunlight there is awful, isn't it? She wants to do some painting, so I've got to wrap this up so that I can clear the table and she can have a look at that. The dinging on my phone that you keep hearing is it's House Party. So House Party, for those of you that don't know, it's like it's a video phone call type thing. So basically you can connect with friends and family, and you can all kind of be in the room or on the screen at the same time interacting with each other. And we had scheduled in to have a chat with my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law this morning. Eloise decided that she wanted to do a dance class, which lasted all of about 5 minutes and involved her dancing around the kitchen to Baby Shark. And then she got really bored, but we were just having a chat. And because I'm still logged into House Party, every time somebody that you know or are connected to logs on, it sends you a notification to say that they're there in case you want to have a chat with them. So not that you needed to know any of that, but that's what the dinging was. So I am going to leave it there for now. I'm sorry it's been a little bit all over the place. I feel like it's been a bit rushed, and I feel like I might have rambled a lot more than usual, but you know, these are exceptional times and exceptional circumstances. So I hope that you have enjoyed catching up today. I will try and do another video next week. If there is anything in particular that you would like me to talk about, then please do let me know, and I'm happy to do that. If you've got any questions that you want to ask, or if you want any more information about anything I've spoken about today, then please do let me know as well. If you've got particular ways that you're keeping busy, that you're keeping yourselves or your children occupied, do let me know as well, because it's really good to share these things, isn't it? Yeah, so I hope that you are all keeping well, and I hope that you're all keeping busy, and that you're coping in these very, very strange and unprecedented circumstances. And let's all try and stick together and have that sense of community, because it really does help. And on that note, I am going to wrap it up. So thank you very, very much for watching, for spending a bit of time with me today. If you do want to keep in touch and keep updated with what I'm doing, as I say, I'm going to try and do weekly videos. So if you subscribe to the channel, then you will get a notification in your inbox of that. And yeah, head over to Instagram and join me on there as well, because this is definitely a time when social media and connections that we make on social media are definitely very, very necessary. So stay safe, stay well. Let's all stick in this together, and I will see you again, hopefully all being well, next week. Thank you for watching. Bye bye for now.